I am Noriko Bobo, and this is Uncut News. Prezi says he's expecting a 2023 completion date for the proposed natural gas to shore energy project. The Special Advisory Committee is currently gathering information before moving to negotiations with Exxon. While many agreed that there was enough natural gas to pipe it to shore, the coalition did little to advance the project. But what they did do is initiate the construction of a 46-megawatt power plant at Garden of Eden that, when completed, will be able to use heavy fuel oil and natural gas. April 2021 is the expected completion date for this project according to GPL. When completed, the plant should provide the grid with enough power to significantly reduce the number of blackouts. The government says no local government elections until GCOM gets itself in order and the commission drastically altered. Even though elections are due every 2 years, the last PPP government did not hold them for over 2 decades. During the coalition government, LGEs were held in 2016 and 2018. However, they might find some common ground with the opposition on the need to fix GCOM. Last week, the coalition said GCOM needs to stop preparing itself for house-to-house registration and produce a clean voters list. Nandalal says his ministry will be investigating a series of questionable state land sales during the previous administration. However, he recently claimed that a certain APNU parliamentarian and lawyer collected $1 million for lands that were flipped at Peters Hall on the East Bank. Around 50 acres of land were sold through 3 different agreements. The same parliamentarian in question was supposedly listed as the lawyer on record for the drafting of the 3 contracts. After leasing the land for several $1,000s, it was subsequently sold to a company connected to the oil and gas industry for over $1 million. The money, however, did not go to the owner, but rather to the attorney on record. The owner should have been the state, but clearly that was not the case. He added that there exists a process whereby members of the public are invited to either express an interest or put a bid in, or to even make an offer to buy public lands. But this was not done at any point of the process. Best Buy Auto Sales is Guyana's #1 auto dealer. Their prices are competitive and they sell their vehicles with warranty, so you could have some peace of mind. Visit their showrooms at 171 Peter Row Street, Queenstown, or Lot 2 Lamar Street, Georgetown, and find out about their special Christmas deals. The CARICOM Regional Security System, investigating the murders of Berbice teens Joel and Isaiah Henry and Harish Singh, made some recommendations for additional work to be done by the police. The RSS team visited Guyana between September 28th and October 5th. As part of its investigation, the team visited the crime scene, interviewed the relatives of the victims, and examined evidence. However, the government has not stated if it will make the findings of the RSS public. One resident of Quibana Village, Northwest District, just found out that sometimes it's your own family that's out to get you. Last night, 35-year-old Kamal Wilson was chopped to his head, neck, and shoulders by a family member who also resides in the community. Reports are that at around 7 p.m., Wilson went to check on the generator in his yard when the suspect approached with a cutlass in hand. While Wilson was checking the machine, the man started chopping furiously. Wilson managed to run home and tell his family what happened. However, he succumbed to his injuries at about 11 p.m. The 23-year-old suspect is currently in police custody. And in another senseless act of violence against our nation's youth, a 21-year-old construction worker was killed after a drive-by chopping yesterday on the West Coast. Sanjay Hanuman of Anna Katerina was pronounced dead on arrival at the Lenora Cottage Hospital hours after he was chopped to his leg, allegedly by a 19-year-old Venezuelan national. According to the victim's friend, the suspect sliced open the young man's leg with a cutlass before riding away on a bicycle. The friend tried to offer assistance, but was unable to do so by himself. According to the police, no one else was willing to help transport him to the hospital. By the time he was actually transported, it was too late. The suspect is currently in police custody. Now is a good time to tell you that robbery season is back. If I were you, I would consider getting security for the home or business. Sheriff Security Service is a good choice. I find that they are the most professional with well-trained armed or unarmed guards. Get some security this Christmas, people! And back to Region 1. The RDC for Region 1 is preparing to test all of their senior citizens before putting the village of Guyana on lockdown. No, not because of the murder. This is in response to a spike in Rona deaths over the past month. Region 1, with approximately 50 villages, has reported 24 of the nation's deaths. Regional Health Officer Dr. Stefan Schiffhorn recently told Newsroom that in most cases the elderly persons died at home and were tested positive post-mortem. The region has so far recorded 664 cases. Speaking of the Rona, it's time for today's Rona report. Today, the nation recorded 35 new cases. The total number of deaths now stands at 119. The total of persons in the ICU now stands at 9, and 814 persons are in home isolation. The total number of known cases in the country is now 4,061. So, please people, wash your hands frequently, avoid touching your nose and mouth, and mask up before you leave the house. When you do leave home, try to avoid enclosed spaces and large crowds, and remember to give 6 feet of space between you and others. Now, let's take a look at news in the region. Antigua and Barbuda is strongly considering a steep increase in fines for breaching Rona protocols after a waitress possibly exposed over 100 people to the virus. According to reports, the young woman returned to her job at a bar even after she got her results. Minister of Health Morgan Joseph said an investigation has been launched and the woman may soon be charged. Cuba said that Trump's renewed economic sanctions made them lose nearly $5.6 billion in 1 year. The $5.6 billion loss occurred between April 2019 and March 2020, compared with $4.3 billion the previous year. The sanctions, plus the pandemic and a series of hurricanes, has led to a growing shortage of food and fuel on the island. Cuban Foreign Minister Bruno Rodriguez called the blockade an increasingly cruel attempt to deprive his people of basic goods for their survival. Trump said these sanctions stay until Cuba undergoes massive economic and political reforms. Cuba has rejected any interference into its internal affairs. Don't fall for these get-rich-quick schemes, people. There is a legit way you can earn some extra cash to supplement your existing hustle. Sell Top-Up. You can become a Top-Up vendor quick and easy by linking Cellular Plus. Call them on telephone number 685-31009 for more info. And now for our weird news story of the day. A new pill may be the savior for people who snore because of sleep apnea. The once-a-day pill, codenamed AD109, shows that it could possibly erase snoring problems by up to 74%. The Daily Mail report that the tablet contains 2 common drugs, but now they could be repurposed to help those with sleep apnea. Phase 2 clinical trials are set to begin next month. Eagle Eye Lighting is one of the top manufacturers and worldwide suppliers of automotive halogen bulbs, xenon HID lamps, and LED lamps. These bulbs are the most efficient, long-lasting, and durable. Eagle Eye bulbs are available nationwide and are imported and distributed by Caribbean Motor Spares. Call them on telephone number 609-7621. Don't buy fake Eagle Eye. Look for the stamp that says Made in Korea. Moving on to our Uncut News Viewers Poll question of the day. Every day we pose a question about current events in Guyana, the region, the diaspora, and how you feel it relates to us. So, you give your responses in the comments, and we will read the best ones in the following episode. Yesterday's question was, what suggestions could you give the Ministry of Education to improve their delivery of education during these times? Jay Jairam said, the government should bring internet at a reduced price to every household with school-aged children so that they could attend school virtually during the pandemic. Good idea. Samuel Ramsey said, first of all, the government should change Region 10 name from Linden to Prosperity. The reason being, it was named after a former president. Even the predecessor neglected the people. The education system is a flum. 99.5% of the population living in poverty, which is a modern-day crime. We need an educational institution that is equipped, up to date, to train youths in various fields. The government can then take persons from there after graduation, give them salary, so they can maintain facilities in the country. Well, really, the teaching college is supposed to be that and the public service college, but I really don't know what's going on for that. But hey, good answers nonetheless. The glorious days of shopping are back at Ravina's on Water Street and Anand's on Regent Street. Now in stock are over 20 beautiful designs of inlay and over 12 gorgeous designs in rubber tiles for your homes, offices, or work. We have over 16 attractive colours of leatherette for covering furniture. For fast and comfortable shopping, visit us to get the best prices in town. That's Ravina's on Water Street and Anand's of Regent Street. Now, finally, I leave you with tonight's question. It is unfortunate, but in this country, people often just sit there and record injured persons after an accident or worse. I've actually spoken to people who were robbed after being severely injured in an accident or even some act of violence. In some nations, it is actually a crime not to render assistance to an injured person if you are reasonably able to do so. Should this nation adopt such a law? Think about that question and tell us in the comments below. If your response is good, we just might feature it in Wednesday's episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight. Check us out tomorrow for another. Until then, I'm Noriko Bullford saying good night, folks. Hey, Uncut News viewers, thanks for watching. You can subscribe by clicking on this button over here, or click over there for more news. You can also drop a comment to let me know if you've made it to the end of the video. Goodbye for now.